Alright, here we got the 6ovrcrest rear seat delete partially installed. Uh, this was kind of a pain in the butt for me to record, so I'm just going to go over it the best way I can. So, these brackets actually sit underneath it and get tucked underneath. You can barely see the lip, but it's right under there. So what I did is I drilled holes in this first. There's kind of indentations. So I drilled holes right here and there. This one was my first one. And as you can see, I kind of fucked that one up. So you learn from your mistakes. So always measure it, and that way you don't have to do any second cuts. I kind of messed this one up. It's a little lopsided, so it kind of bows right here. So you do have to have a rivet gun for these. So you can go to Harbor Freight, you can go to Lowe's. These are like 20-25 bucks. They come with a whole bunch of little different tips on there that you can just easily swap out. So what I did is I used 3 different drill bits. We got a 3/16 right here for these guys. That way this can properly seat into it. For the push clips, I do have a bigger one right here, and that one is a 1/4 inch. So this one is a 1/4 inch right there. And then for the top bolt that's going to sit on the rear top piece, I got a 7/32. So I haven't drilled those yet, but just wanted to go over some drill bits. That way it makes it so much easier to cut this or drill this, and that way you can get this into your car quicker. If you do buy the 6ovrcrest rear quarter panels, they come with actually these rib nuts and these push clips. So that's why I have this push clip here. This is for the rear quarter panel. I did go out and get one of these, but I don't have the proper extension, and that is going to be an M5 extension that you're going to need for these guys to install. I'll have to go over these in the future when I get the actual bit, and then I can install these quarter panel pieces. But it's pretty self-explanatory. If you've never used a rivet gun, you put this long sticky part in there, and you make sure that this is seated up all the way up against there, and then you hold this side and squeeze with this hand, and you try to get as close as a seal as you can. And then once you squeeze enough times, every time you squeeze, it'll come out a little bit, and you adjust, and then once it snaps off, then you're good to go. So after you do the brackets right here, what I did is I went along and did 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to add 2 more right there and right there. And then for this top piece right here, you can kind of see that indentation right above my finger, and the other one right there, that's going to be for your top bolt, which is going to be this pan guy right here. Let us focus. There we go. But this is pretty self-explanatory. The tricky part is the quarter panels, and I'm going to get to that next week, just for the simple fact that I had to Amazon Prime a attachment bit. Pretty self-explanatory. If you do the self quarter panels, you are going to have to take this little trim piece off the door and all the push clips. So I didn't have a rear seat in my car anyways, so as you can tell, on mine there's actually a bolt down here, or a screw and a washer, and a screw and a washer, and then these pop right off. The little rivet nut piece that I don't have is going to be sitting inside the pillars right here. So once I get back to that, we're going to be installing those little corner panel pieces. So back right here, that bolt right there by my finger, That's the one that that bolt is gonna go into on the top piece. That's gonna hold this top bracket for the parcel shelf right here. And then here are the quarter panel pieces that I'm gonna be installing next week. So I'm just trying to get this all squared away. You can see that's pretty much installed already. Just a couple little more things, but it is pretty self-explanatory once you break it down and you kind of get the basics of it. But it is really confusing to a first-time person who didn't know that you had to get these tools or anything, and then you get the hardware and then you're like, what the hell does this all go to, and how does it go together? But it's pretty easy once you get a rivet gun. Sorry for my Halloween decorations, by the way. But I'm going to go through and add a couple more rivets over there. And then I'm going to be drilling that top hole right there for the top bracket. It is going to look like this. These are actually going to hold the parcel shelf in. So, and then these are going to mount on the top right there. So, I'll come back to this after I get this installed. And let me know what you guys think. So, got it installed. You can see there's a couple sweat beads. So I was sweating my ass off trying to put these top bolts up here. And then I got to looking, and I'm like, oh, this has a nice little bow. I forgot to take out the rear seat bracket right here. So if you're doing this install, make sure to take out this bracket. As you can see, I kind of murdered my top holes, but I'm just going to leave it for now until I have to do the parcel shelf. And once I do the parcel shelf, then I'm going to go back and fix this. I went ahead and riveted those corners right there, as you can tell. I don't know if you can see that one. But you pretty much got it installed. It looks amazing, fits amazing. There's just no absolute instructions for this period. So it's nice to know what to do. Also suggest take out these back brackets right here that are holding these guys in for the rear seat. You won't need those. I'm gonna go back and take those out later on. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it how it is, and we will come back to the brackets and the top parcel shelf for my speakers and do the rear quarter panel pieces. So hopefully this helps somebody. If you're trying to install this, should make it a little easier. If you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to hit me up. And yeah, hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy your day.